Hello there, everyone. This is Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center, and I'm excited to have Scott Barhold with us today because Scott's someone I've known personally now for many, many years. In fact, I'd be curious to know how many. It could be as many as 10 because the history that the two of us have is actually quite interesting. And Scott, you've had a wonderful journey as you've started your own practice and then brings you to here today. So I'm looking forward to this conversation and you're sharing with everyone kind of your experiences.
Me too.
So one of the things that I'd like to do is let's start. I'm going to take you as a flashback. This is going to be years ago. As I remember, you were actually in a position where you were not making ends meet. And my recollection is you attended a seminar that, if I believe correctly, was put on by David Sherwood. And at that seminar, we were talking about starting and building your own practice. Tell me about your situation at the time of looking at starting your own practice, your background, your experience, and why that was such a big decision for you.
Yeah, well, I was working for one particular individual who had 5 different companies, plus I had a few scattered clients. And he came to me and said, hey, look, if you work for me, this is the amount of money I'll pay you, and you can just work for me. And I looked and I thought to myself, well, why would I do that and cut my revenue down? I didn't want to be working for somebody. I had chased a job for across 3 different states with a naval air defense contractor, and opening up my own business was something that was exciting to me. And I went from making $90,000 a year to making $29,500, because when I said I didn't want to work for him, he kind of let me go. I had no idea how to market, had no idea how to let people know that I do accounting and I can help you, without telling them I do accounting and I can help you, which didn't bring the confidence that I needed. So I was running through, I swear, I don't even think Facebook was popular at the time. It was November of 2007. And I was running through a Craigslist ad, and it said, accountants, if you want to find clients who are willing to pay you what you are worth and stick with you, you need to come to this free seminar. And it was Don Hewlett who actually, and I sat and I listened through the whole thing. And I told him, I said, look, my marketing skills are so bad. My closing rate is like a -3. And he said, well, how's that? I said, everybody that hears it, when my own clients hear it, they quit. So it was really bad. And he said, well, I'm going to put you in touch with a guy, but don't waste his time. If you're not going to do the work, if you're not committed, if you're not going to don't waste his time. He's got better things to do than to work with somebody that thinks they want to do it, but really isn't committed. So I went home that weekend. I saw Don on a Thursday night. I watched the marketing program, the Universal Practice Builder. And I watched that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday I called, and Don put me in touch with David Sherwood. That's how David and I wound up meeting. And I have to tell you, it did not take long. It did not take long for things to start to turn around. I remember one of the very first interviews I was going to go on. I mean, my closing used to sound a lot like, well, I can do this all for you for $200 a month. And they'd go, and I'd go, $150? McDonald's coupons, right? It just got to a point we were haggling down to nothing. And then I'd get the client and they wouldn't pay me anyway. So this wasn't working for me. So when I got with you guys, Universal Accounting, sat down, we practiced, we did some mock write-ups and stuff. I go out to do my very first closing, and I close it for $374 a month. And when I showed what I was given and what I was providing to them, and I did it step by step, piece by piece, the guy said, "You're going to do all that for only $375 a month?" And I went, "Well, yeah." And it was funny because it was the same thing I was offering a month ago for $200, and I couldn't get people to sign on. And back then, I was just getting started for $375 a month. That was more money than I had ever signed a client for. And we worked it out that the payments were automatic. I didn't have to mess with it. It was great. So one of the things that I think I learned from you guys was how to present the services I offer differently than the way most accountants do. And that's what made the difference for me.
So one of the things I really love about that story is the fact that you were in a position of not clearly understanding how to present your services in a way that was confident and the client could see competence. So all of a sudden that evolution occurred, and all of a sudden now you're getting better clients and they're appreciating the work. So that's quite amazing. So I don't know if this is at the exact same time, but if I remember correctly, there was a situation where you were looking to make that leap of going out there and literally getting clients. And I believe you shared that you actually had a side job, something that you're doing on the side, doing repo work. And there was an instance that occurred, and it was from that moment I think you were actually committed 100% to making this happen. You were in all the way. Does that ring a bell to you?
Oh yeah, when you leave a big company and you're looking for ways to make ends meet. I'm a dad. I have 3 daughters. I have a wife. I have multiple roles in my life, and one of them was provider. And I was doing a job that I absolutely hated. I used to go out and do furniture repo. I would go into people's houses and take their stuff because it paid the bills. It was a job I hated. If I saw an eyelash in the bottom of the sink, I called in for 3 days bereavement. It was the worst job for me personally. I'm not saying it's bad for anybody, but for me it was, because I wasn't helping people. But it also made me realize, as you go into people's houses and they can't manage their money, it became very obvious that people need help with finances. And that was one of the things I understood that I knew I could do. I went to school, I got my accounting degree, I understood money a little bit. I mean, we went through rough spots, but we always managed to keep ourselves together. And I'll just never forget that moment when I realized this isn't helping anybody but me, and it was kind of a selfish way. But by me helping folks with accounting, people have dreams, they have their businesses, they have their lives that they want, and they just don't know how to get there. And one of the things that Universal taught me was the 3 core competencies of every business, right? Marketing, accounting, and production. We mapped the business. And I understood the accounting part of it, but most business owners are real good at the production side, right? You guys introduced me to a book, The
Yep.
E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And the one line in there that most small businesses are started by a technician that had an entrepreneurial seizure. And as an accountant, as an entrepreneur, as a profit and growth expert, I got to see that firsthand, that people get into business because they're great at what they do. They have the passion, they have the desire, but they don't know how to run the rest of the business. And I had the talent to do the accounting part of it. So now I could help them with that. And as time went on, because I did so many of the seminars and things, I actually learned a little bit about marketing as well as marketing my own practice. So all the things that came from Universal put it all together for me.
That is just a beautiful one. I think it's very telling that you were in a position where what allowed you to start and build your practice was this passion to make a difference. You had the skills, you had the competence, and then you brought up mapping the business. That is a core element of what we actually teach, that of marketing, accounting, production, and the balance of those coming together to make profit. So well said. The idea of becoming a profit and growth expert, so key, I think, to the services that you're providing to your clients. So with that perspective, let's now kind of take it to the idea of starting a business. What advice would you have for someone that was in a position like you were, who's considering starting, getting clients, starting to offer quality services? What advice would you have for them?
You really have to understand the product or service that you're offering. Because for me, I do accounting, I do bookkeeping, I do tax preparation. Nobody really wants those things. Those are pains that they have. So one of the things I learned how to communicate to my clients better. I partner with small business owners to help them increase profits, reduce taxes, and keep more money in the bank to run and grow their business. And they now ask, well, how do you do that? And that's what sets up the interview, that I can be very, very specific to their needs. We have a questionnaire that we go through, and I can show them how I can solve their needs. So if you are a new business guy or new business gal just getting started, understand your product well enough, not from a features point of view, but for what problems you solve, how you provide solutions to their pain, how you let them sleep at night so that they can do what they do best, right? We do what takes their time so that they can do what makes them money. And I think every accountant needs to understand that. We are a necessary service, but we can provide so much more, because so many people think that accounting is just to getting your taxes done. And that's just a horrible mistake. Your business is speaking to you all the time. I mean, one of the examples I always use, so many business owners that I talk to them, and I talk to them about getting their books done and stuff, and they go, oh, I already have an accountant. Oh, well, how often do you meet with them? Oh, every year we send them our tax stuff. You don't have an accountant. You have a tax preparer. And though they're highly educated, very specialized, and provide a valuable function, they are to the accounting industry what the coroner is to the medical industry. By the time you get there, it's too late. They can't fix the problem. They can tell you what killed it, but they can't fix it. And having somebody in there on your power team that's going to help you build your business, turn your dream into reality, somebody that's there, your goals become their goals, that's what makes the difference for anybody. And that's why we are an important part of any small business. So if you are just getting started, understand the value that you provide. You're not a numbers cruncher. You're not a bean counter. You're a valuable part of any team to help them make their dreams a reality.
So true. That example of the corner is perfect, because what we want to be is profit and growth experts. You want to be positively engaged with your clients. So this is wonderful. So what advice would you have for someone that is an established accountant, someone who has clients, someone who's working with businesses, and they're interested in taking their company to that next level, whether it be hiring more employees, opening a new office, offering now new services? What advice would you have for them?
Number one, stay in constant contact with your clients. It's not just about give me the check stubs, I'll enter it and give you reports. Get in some sort of a way. Another term I learned from Universal Accounting was TOMA, top of mind awareness. Be in contact with them, not about your business, not about their business, just about community stuff. Become a household name with them would be number one, because people will do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And you're not tricking them into it. You are just showing them other things that are available, not necessarily services, but a newsletter is a great thing to have. Make yourself a valuable piece of the community so that other people can come to you and see expertise that you offer, and you'll find that more people will come to you. You become, I don't know how to describe it any better way, but you become magnetic. You're not out looking for clients. People are coming to find you. And that makes a big difference. It takes a lot of the stress off. And the other thing I'll share with you is this. When I first started my own practice, if you could fog a mirror, I would take you as a client. It got to a point I didn't have to do that anymore. I could be selective. Clients that I wanted to do business with, clients that I enjoyed doing business with, and I looked forward to. And when they brought me people much like them. So that was very interesting. It's a dynamic change, but we have to get past ourselves. We offer way more than just putting numbers into a computer. So if you're looking to offer additional services, look for, and I internalized this. I watched Shark Tank, and Robert Herjavec, I always say his name wrong, but he was talking to military guys that came home, and he said, don't go out there and start a business. Look for problems in your community, create a solution, and people will come to you. So if you've been in business for a while, look at the needs of your community, your clientele, create a solution. And not only will they come to you, but they'll bring more people to you. Because when you become a solution provider, and not a service seller, it's a whole different mindset when people come to you. And I really believe that.
I have to agree. What you said is so true. When you get in a position where no longer are you out there trying to push your message and trying to connect with people, but rather people are just gravitating to you because they resonate with you, that's powerful. That's huge. So let me ask you this about Universal Accounting. Obviously, there was a significant role there with Universal helping you get maybe that confidence and competence to go out there and do this. What kind of experiences did you have with Universal Accounting?
I always had a positive experience. I had lots of great experiences with coaching. If I had something that I could not get my head around, it was a 10-digit phone dial, and literally I might have been in business for myself, but I wasn't all by myself. I had a team that had hundreds of years of experience that with one phone call or two phone calls, somebody would get back to me, and I knew exactly what I had to do, whether it was closing a sale, whether it was working with a different type of business that I never worked with before. The coaching was top notch, and it really helped me get through each and every hurdle. One of the most difficult ones for me was when I got there, I knew how much money I wanted to make, but I had no idea how many clients that took or what I had to do it. And I'll never forget, because when I started with the Universal Practice Builder, I went in February, I went to Utah to see you guys. And I had $29,000 was all I was going to make for the year, and I had written down my goal sheet was $72,000. Had no idea how to get there. We called it a BHAG, right? Big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what you guys called it. I have such a vocabulary from you guys. It's great. And I went home and I posted that up on my mirror in the bathroom. I posted it on my desk. I posted it on my phone, everywhere I could, $72,000. I had no idea how to get there. We went through the UPB, and I called you guys in October that year, I think it was, and I had just put the check in my pocket that crossed $72,000. And we were only in October. I still had all of November and all of December, where I would get up to, I think my final goal, my final was like $88,000 for the year was what I wound up making. And from not having an idea how to do it to achieving it was incredible. So not only do you show how to do it, but you stand behind it and you made it. You didn't make it happen. We made it happen. I did a lot of work, but it wasn't hard work. It was just, this is the next step. It was methodical. And as long as you were willing to go through the wickets, it was like you couldn't screw it up.
That is amazing. And I actually do remember that. That was an amazing experience. You were in a position where you couldn't see forward, but you trusted and moved ahead. That was wonderful. So let me just ask a final thought. Where do you see the accounting profession going here in the next few years?
Well, when I started this with you guys years ago, it was really easy. People would mail me packages and I'd do all the data entry. But online is becoming so much more available. But that doesn't mean that the people are doing it right and they get into a false sense of security. So one of the things I see myself doing is becoming more virtual, which will also help me become, I don't have to be isolated. You don't have to just look locally. And I think this is a great thing for someone that has talent and has the ability with internet access and software to reach beyond just your local market. I think this is a great way, a great time to reach out and expand yourself, that you don't have to just think locally. I think to start, we all should, this is my opinion, but I think you should start locally. That's going to get you your feet wet. It's going to get you your core clients, maybe those clients that are going to help you achieve your needs. And then as you start to move further out, you can expand. And we can actually start to help people outside of who we know. And more importantly, the people who become our clients will know people outside of our circles. And they can bring them in. And now it's no longer, well, I live within 30 minutes of you. I can handle somebody from California if that's, because the electronic age is here. It's really that easy. In May of this year, I had a gentleman who called me up. He knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew me. And he said, look, I brought my QuickBooks to my accountant. And the guy said, it's a mess. I won't even touch it. I had to go through an entire year's worth of accounting. And I used a little bit of Excel and pivot tables and some stuff like that. Got it put into a QuickBooks Online segment, gave him the journal entries. I was able to do his taxes and everything. We were able to do a year's worth of back data. And we did that in less than a week and got him his taxes done. From the guy that said, I won't touch it, to having him with his tax return done, it took us 10 days. And he was thrilled and is currently a new client. And he doesn't live near me. We don't even know each other now. We've met kind of like we're meeting now. We've talked on Skype and we've done that. And he feels confident and loves the results that he got. So I see the electronic age serving to help well-talented accountants expand their ability to reach people.
Well, what you're sharing there, I think, is the truth. The fact that technology is where it is today, you're finding that more and more people are, in fact, getting clients anywhere and everywhere. And so, well said. So, Scott, what you're doing is amazing. What you've done is incredible. It's definitely something that you've been able to accomplish. You've lived an amazing life. I know also that from a personal point of view, you do a lot of things with regards to magic and also the balloon animals and so forth. You're an amazing person. I love who you are. You're very genuine, and most importantly, I think your clients experience that with you. You're just very down to earth and very natural. So thank you for the advice and the input that you've provided here. I really do believe a lot of the accountants that are listening can relate to and really benefit from hearing your story, because it's something that I think a lot of people can identify with. They uh, basically see themselves on the same journey that you're on. And the fact that you're able to, with Universal Accounting Center, become more involved and uh, basically helpful to your clients as their profit and growth expert is awesome. So congratulations on everything you've done. The idea behind all this is basically to share your story, and I think you've done a wonderful job of that. So with that in mind, I thank you for having done this conversation. I encourage each of you to take advantage of basically moving forward, setting goals and moving ahead. And like Scott did, declare what it is you're trying to do, and don't worry about the details of achieving it. Just move forward. And one of the things that he spoke of is actually from a book called In the Black. So below here, I'm going to put a link to getting that book In the Black so that you can actually see and learn more what it is he was sharing. So thank you very much for everything you've done. And Scott, is there any parting thought you'd have?
Just one of the things that I learned from you guys as well, right? Your success is based on just a couple of things. Decide what you want, create the plan to get there, and then just execute your plan. It really is that easy. If you're willing to do those 3 steps, there's nothing beyond your reach.
Well said. Begin with the end in mind. Perfect. All right. With that, understand this. If it's about accounting, it is universal, and accounting success is universal. So take care. Have a great day. And everyone, make the most of it.